Hello?
This is the review nobody asked for. But I'm gonna give it to you anyway, and I'm gonna give it to you fast. Because that's content creation, baby. I know it takes a special breed to get into RTS mayhem.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Look, I like tiny things. I like models and stuff. I like scale diarrheas and all the shoebox Warhammer 40k stuff, and I fucking love RTS builders, especially the ones that go...
Now you wanna get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
Age of Empires is a good game for some things, but great for one thing, skipping history class. Where else can you get such an interactive and visual representation of what went down in Braveheart? But that was Age of Empires 2. This is Age of Empires 4. My, how far we've come. However, this game will not help you in any way to memorize the curriculum of your education, and it will definitely not help you ace the final. But it might help you get that wildcard bonus question right. And who knows, one day down the line, you might be on a game show with questions. And just perhaps, you'll be asked the $1 million question. And the answer to that question might have embedded itself in your brain because you watch too many movies and play too many games just like this one.
Hi, Dad. Hi. I don't really need your help. I just wanted to let you know that I'm gonna win the $1 million.
Having released the highly anticipated Age of Empires 4 2 years ago, Xbox Game Studios' Relic and World's Edge finally unwololoed the first official campaign and civilization expansion, the Sultans Ascend. You see what I did with the Wololo there? To be clear, this is a single campaign for the Ayyubid Dynasty. This expansion sees 8 new campaign levels. While the campaign is extensive, in-depth, and informative, it really acts as the game's tutorial, introducing players to some of the new mechanics exclusive to the Abbasid Dynasty civilization variant, the Ayyubids. If you want to see what the campaign has to offer, you can check out my playthrough, which I have organized nicely for you into one comprehensive playlist. Look, I'm gonna be real here. The base game has 4 campaigns, each with 8+ stages. Each campaign is based on different civilizations and their history. In fact, each stage has some very well-produced historical content to accompany it. The Sultan's Ascend campaign is not that compelling, but for $15 it's a fair deal. Meanwhile, the expansion adds 6 new factions and introduces historical figures as hero characters here and there. While some civs already have their campaigns, such as the French and Jeanne d'Arc,
Why do you think I have this outrageous accent, you silly?
I would much rather have a single campaign mission for every civilization rather than focusing on how special one is over the other. I felt like this with the base game as well, and I would happily pay, well, not happily, but I would pay $25 to $50 depending on the extent of the content. I understand that a campaign for every civilization is way too much content, if there was such thing as too much content, which there is no such thing. Let's keep it simple. When I think of the Age of Empires franchise, I think of 2 key aesthetics, samurai and crusaders. Of course, you got the castles. The Sultan's Ascend expansion brings us both samurai and crusaders. Sort of. I mean, you definitely get to fight the crusaders. It's complicated given crusaders came from many different factions, but I mean, come on. Also, we get no challenges or tutorials to help us learn the mechanics of these satellite factions. We just get the one campaign for the Ayyubids to help us understand them. In total, here's what we get. You got the Byzantines and the Japanese as the 2 new civs. Then you got the variant factions of previously existing civs, the Ayyubids, the Order of the Dragon, Juicy's Legacy, and Jeanne d'Arc.
Mind your own business!
Look, there's a lot to unpack here, so we're just gonna skip it. Let's skip it. Now this allows us to transition into the real reason I wanted to make this video in the first place, which is all about the fast-paced, stressful, and high-intensity multiplayer that we get with Age of Empires 4, and how the Sultan's Ascend is going to make this world a hell of a lot more interesting. Ever tried playing Age of Empires multiplayer? Didn't think so. And you may want to brush up on your hotkeys because this game gets hell fun when you know your hotkeys. While Age of Empires doesn't exactly have that appeal, bourgeois, like some of the more popular games out there, the multiplayer ranking and esports scene is where the money is at, seriously. All you need to know is shift click and control 1, 2, 3, or 4 and you'll be spam building like an orangutan with Neuralink.
Yes.
If you can manage to get yourself a good seasoned rank in multiplayer, you'll start to find that the online Age of Empires community is friendly, welcoming, and polite for the most part. With all that shit out of the way, let's wrap up these cheeseburgers and get them out that drive window. So, how many cheeseburgers does the Age of Empires Sultan's Ascend expansion garner? Story. While it was nice to get a history lesson, I would rather have the option to play more campaign content for some of the other civilizations in the game. It would have been great to have a little campaign content for the 2 new civilizations at the least. This gets you half a cheeseburger. Graphics? Alright, I admit, it took me a while to get over the cartoonish scaling and look of Age of Empires 4 when it was released. I don't know. On a good note, the unit models and details are just right, and the fact that they improve and evolve as you upgrade has always been a plus. But why, oh why, did you have to make the Order of the Dragon units even bigger? I get it, I see what you're going for here, but no. And for one more positive, the trees and the foliage sway even more in the wind now. I love it. But does it induce motion sickness? Overall, this is going to be a half a cheeseburger. Gameplay. The gameplay is fun, informative, and requires a somewhat higher level of comfort with key mapping and controls. While I have no problem with this being a fan of the Age of Empires franchise, it can be difficult to make new players catch the bug. You know what I mean? I'm going to give this 14 out of 15ths of a cheeseburger. Customization. The tech trees are great. There's the strategy of the player, and then the civilization or tech tree they are playing. Different build orders, and all of this adds a vast amount of non-aesthetic customization, but it's the kind of customization that really allows you to shine as the player. Real Sun Tzu Art of War shit right here. However, it's high time this franchise gives us something a little more than just the colors of the rainbow and a town center ornament, of which your selection is very limited until you become a threat on the battlefield, completing rotations of achievements. So this is gonna get 3/4 of a cheeseburger. Taking a full bite out of that one for you. The length. I just felt it was too long on one civilization with so much more to offer. So really, it's one gigantic tutorial on the Abbasid dynasty using the new variant civ of the Ayyubids. This does fit well with the base campaigns, but I was expecting more variation, even if only training missions with the variant civs. I really would have loved to spend some time here on the Japanese and Byzantines in a campaign, being that they have their own civilizations, but instead we just get 8 levels with the one variant. It's kind of my biggest gripe about the whole thing. Half a cheeseburger. And it's less about playtime hours and more about wasted potential. Alright, so half cheeseburger plus half cheeseburger plus 14 15 cheeseburger plus 3/4 cheeseburger plus half cheeseburger. Let's see, that's 15 plus 6. Okay, so that's 2 1/4 plus 14 15ths. That's gonna be 3 cheeseburgers in total, if you do the math on the mass anyway. Thanks for watching. Has anybody else experienced this rare scout ritual before? I mean, they don't even lose health. They're locked in. They're locked in. Locked in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share.